The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Real Stuff podcast. I have been so excited about today's episode for a long time because it's truly an honest conversation with a woman that I love. This is Maddie, the baby nurse that came and lived with us for a handful of weeks after Milo and Coco were born. And I'm hoping that today's episode will give you not only an insight into all of the questions that you likely have about using a baby nurse, including exactly what they do, how they help the baby and the parents, what the sleeping arrangement is like with them, how they are fed during their time in your house, and of course, the cost and the whole financial side of it. But also, I think this episode will give you a glimpse into my personal relationship with Maddie, and it will give you a sense of our banter and how we worked together. I really, really wanted today's episode to be an honest depiction of what it's like to use a baby nurse because I think there are so many pros and cons to having a person come live with you in those early weeks postpartum. And I really wanted to be truthful with you guys about some of the highs and lows that we experienced during our time. I figured that after hearing this episode, many of you would want to reach out to Maddie and get her contact information. And so I decided to set up a landing page to make this very easy for you. luciefink.com/nurse. If you go to that webpage, you'll be redirected to the form and you could just drop your email and it will send you an email with her contact info. That's Lucie, Lucie, fink.com/nurse, and you'll get all the details there. Every single nurse is a completely different person. So they bring a different personality, a different approach, a different energy to your space. And so before you get Maddie's contact info and reach out to her, I highly recommend that you give this full episode a listen from start to finish, maybe even with your partner, to gauge what her personality type is like and to see if you think she'd be a fit for your family. Of course, you can also get her contact information and get on a call with her yourself. She's an incredibly easy person to talk to, and you can really ask her any questions. If you do reach out to her and connect, please be sure to let her know that you found her through the Real Stuff podcast. She is so excited about this episode, and I am beyond thrilled to be helping this lovely woman book up her schedule and make a living. I do think this episode speaks for itself, so let's just dive right in. And if you are enjoying this podcast, please leave a 5-star rating or review on Apple or Spotify, or drop us a comment down on YouTube. Oh, and by the way, if you're not watching this episode on YouTube, I highly recommend you head over to YouTube and watch the episode there because we filmed this one in my office, in my space. I haven't done an episode like this before. This was not virtually recorded. We were sitting together. There's a special guest appearance from Coco who comes in. And I think just seeing Maddie and seeing her body language and my body language with her and how comfortable we are together, just what the experience is like, I think it's worth it to watch that on YouTube. So if you do get a chance, watch this podcast episode on YouTube instead of just listening to it. All right, let's dive in with Maddie, our baby nurse. Maddie.
Lucie.
Hello.
I love you.
I love you too. Welcome to the Real Stuff podcast. Welcome back to my house. How does it feel to be back?
It feels delicious. It feels nice to be back in my home. It was my home and it was wonderful.
Yes.
And I felt so delicious.
We love you.
Thank you. I love you.
People have so many questions about baby nurses. I think there's like a certain set of the population that understands what a baby nurse does. They maybe know a lot of people that have used one. And then there's another group of people that is like, what? Having someone come in to take care of the baby, isn't that your job as the mom and the dad? So I'm so excited to just tell people what you do, give people a background. But I first want you to share your background, where you come from, and what brought you here, how you got started as a baby nurse.
Okay, my name is Maddie. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. I came to the U.S. 24 years ago. You know, when I just got to the U.S., it was chaos. I didn't come to stay, but praise God, I ended up staying and becoming citizen, and now I'm a citizen for all the babies who's about to be born in this United States of America. I'm very happy to be a baby nurse. When I came here first, I was not a baby nurse. I used to take care of the elderly. I take care of the elderly for many years. I lived in their homes. So it is easy for me when I go into a home with a baby for 24 hours. It's easy for me because I'm accustomed of living with people in their homes. So it was easy for me. And what caused me to become a baby nurse, I was encouraged by a friend. When she saw me doing the work, she said, you know, why don't you become a baby nurse? I said, how could I? She said, well, there's a school in Manhattan that you can go to, and I went to that school. The friend of mine, she launched me out.
When it comes to baby nurses, there are some agencies that people can go through if they're looking to find someone, or people can often, through word of mouth, through their friends and network, find someone that's a good fit for them. I want to go back to how I first met you.
Yes.
Because if you remember, you weren't supposed to be my baby nurse.
No, I was not supposed to be.
Let me backtrack. When I got pregnant with Milo, I personally had never heard of a baby nurse. A night nurse, a day nurse, no nurse. My mom didn't have a baby nurse. Michael's mom didn't have a baby nurse. So our families weren't telling us, you need to hire someone to come help you. It was actually my Instagram audience that started asking me, are you gonna have a nurse? You know, when I told them I was pregnant, I started getting questions, are you gonna have someone come stay there and help you? And I remember starting to do some asking around. And I was the first of my friends to have a baby. So I didn't have other friends that had had the nurses before me.
That's nice.
Yeah, because Michael and I were, high school romance. So I remember my sister had a friend from work who had a baby the year before, and she used a nurse. And that was literally the only person I could think of to ask about her nurse. So I called that woman, I won't say her name, but it was another nurse, and barely conducted an interview. I just said, you were a recommendation from a friend of my sister's, and I don't know anyone else in this world, so let me just ask you a few questions and see if I think you'd be a good fit. She sounded great, and Michael and I asked her some questions about how it all works, how much she charges, how long she could stay, and we locked her in. Then Milo was due December 12th, 2021, and he popped out November 21st, 2021. So 3 weeks early, I am on my way to the hospital, and I send a text off to that woman, and I say, hey, I just want to let you know, he's coming 3 weeks early. I just went into labor. Can you come to our house probably in 2 days? Because I assume we'd be in the hospital for 48 hours. And she wrote back to me and said, I can't. I'm on another job, and I'm not going to be there in time, but don't worry, I have someone for you. I said, oh my gosh, what? I didn't interview this other person. Who does she have for me? And she sends me your number. So when I called you and I was in the hospital, it certainly was not an interview to see if you were a good fit. I was just calling to make sure you were actually a real person before you just showed up at my door 2 days later. But I didn't really have a choice. At this point, if I wanted to have a baby nurse, it was you or no one. So I FaceTimed you from the hospital, and there you were. This is where I kind of want to get into you sort of explaining to people what a baby nurse does, because when I spoke to you on the phone, I remember just asking, what is this going to be like? Can you tell me what your job is and what you do? So how do you describe to people what your role is when you come into their house as the nurse?
When I come into your house as a baby nurse, my role really is to help you with that baby, train you how to take care of your baby. I become the baby grandmother. I always tell everybody that when I get in that house, I'm the other grandmother. I am the Nigerian grandmother that comes in the house to help you. So my role when I get to the house is to take the baby, make sure all is well with the baby. I love my mommies to rest a lot. So my role really is to hold that baby, teach you how to nurse the baby, teach the baby how to latch, teach you to change the pampers, to feed the baby, to do everything with your baby because that is your baby. I also do you, mommy. I also take care of my mommy. Daddies need comforting too. We cannot forget our daddies. They also need a little comfort. They may not need the comfort at mommy, but we give them a little comfort. Daddy go and rest, take a break. I like to see my daddy go and take a break. So I help out in everything. When I come to you, I am chief cook and bottle washer.
Cook and bottle washer?
Yeah.
In terms of cooking for...
Cook. When we say chief cook and bottle washer, okay, let me slow down. Look. So chief cook and bottle washer in our terms mean I do everything. It doesn't matter. I come to your home, I help you with everything. That is not my job. My job is to take care of the baby. My job is to help you along with the baby. But because I am there, I become family. I want you to be comfortable. Now I'm in your space. And many times you're going to people's space and I'm a stranger. We are strangers. We don't know each other. So what I do, I try to pour that love out to make you feel happy and comfortable. You fall in love with me. So I'm there with you to assist you with everything. The baby, yourself, if you're not feeling good, I am there to help you along, give you a tea, make you tea, If your back is not well, I'm there to help you with your back. Even though you can be bleeding a bucket of drops, it's not me. I will clean you, I will make sure everything. Not only the baby, but the family.
I don't know if you know this, but some people, specifically I know this because I'm on social media and I was very vocal that I used a baby nurse both times. Many people in the US are very judgmental of families that choose to hire someone like you. Like the amount of comments that I've gotten of people saying, you shouldn't have had a baby if you don't want to take care of it overnight. Or you shouldn't have had a baby if you need to hire someone to come in. And listen, I completely understand hiring help like you, which we will get into the money aspect of it, is an absolute privilege that not everyone has. And you saved us in a lot of ways. But one thing I think people aren't remembering when they say you should be doing that all by yourself is this country is one of the only countries in the world where families try to do this by themselves.
It's true.
If we lived in another country, the whole village cares for the baby. Someone like you would maybe even nurse someone else's baby for them.
It's true.
I mean, I don't know if you've got any milk left at this point.
No, not yet. It dry up. No, but that is true.
Yeah.
A whole village will come along to help you with that baby.
Well, what do you say, or what would you say to people who hear this podcast or just in general hear about those who hire a nurse and feel judgmental of them for asking for or for paying for help?
Don't be judgmental. It's a help. And when you see another sister getting that help and you cannot get it, be happy for her. Be happy for her. And just pray that one day that help could come to you. Be happy for your sister. Mm-hmm. It's something that is so privileged. It's like, okay, you have the kids. And you get so tired because kids wear you out, and you get tired. And I, as a neighbor next door, come to you and say, oh my gosh, Lucie, every day you have these kids. You know what? Let me drive these kids 2 days to school for you and you take a rest. How would you feel?
Amazing.
You would feel amazing. You will feel rested to know that, oh my gosh, I never know that this person. It's the same way with the baby nurse.
Yep.
After making a baby, you're stressed. Your body becomes stressed. It's a beautiful angel that's in the world. But sometimes because you're not accustomed to it, or it's your first baby, even the second baby, you have the first baby that, my God, need all your attention and you have this baby. It's stressful. Mm-hmm. So you're glad for somebody. You and yourself saying, I wish I had a help.
So from the standpoint of the mom, I just want to share a little bit about what my experience was like of working with you and what I would tell a friend that you did. First and foremost, I remember when you came to our house for Milo, and granted, I met you on FaceTime the day before.
The day before.
I remember asking you, I don't really understand this setup of what's about to happen. You're about to sleep in the nursery with the baby, and Michael and I will be in our room. But now there's this whole dynamic that I'm unfamiliar with of, does that mean the nursery is your room? Should I not come in, but my baby's in there? I don't know this person, and now they're in control. And I will always remember the number one thing you said to us on repeat during your time with us was, whose baby is this? Mm-hmm. And you would make us respond and say, it's my baby.
Right.
And you would say, this is your baby. I am in your house, your apartment. This space that we're in is your space. If you want to come in the middle of the night, this is your space to come into. If you want to take the baby into bed with you, you take the baby.
It's your baby.
If you want to take the baby and go drive to Vermont, take the
take the
baby.
baby.
This is your baby. So you made us from the start
feel extremely comfortable knowing that having help there didn't mean that we were being usurped in terms of who was in control of the baby. So I really appreciated that. Michael and I also had no experience handling a baby. So I didn't know how to change a diaper. I didn't know how to give a baby a bath.
Yeah.
I was holding Milo like he was going to break any minute.
Yes.
And I will always remember the notorious scene. You kind of picked him up in a way like he was a raw chicken, like roasting a turkey. And I remember watching you pick him up. It was just such a good reminder for me that these babies are resilient. He is strong. I mean, obviously you wouldn't hold a preemie like that, yes. But these babies are not going to break. And we need to, as parents, we all will learn eventually how to handle them and hold them. But you kind of jump-started that process for us. You made it easy for us to know how to put him in clothes without feeling like we were going to rip his arm out of his socket. You taught us so much from the start. You also, if you remember, I came home from the hospital with a horrible rash on my back from the epidural tape. It happened again, second time. And you were caring for me, Epsom salt baths every night, washing me. Like you were treating me like I was the baby.
And I would do that for all mom,
Yeah.
any mom, it doesn't matter.
One thing about having a nurse there is all semblance of judgment and any privacy in the house, it kind of goes out the window.
Goes out the window, truly.
You know, especially if you're nursing, I'm walking around with my boobs out, I'm bleeding. You could like change my pad and wipe me like I'm a baby.
Well, with zero judgment. How can I judge you and I'm there to help you?
I remember you also teaching us how many ounces we were supposed to be giving him, how often in a day. That was just such a mystery to me. I had a handful of breastfeeding things pop up, mastitis. You would literally massage the lump out of my boob for me. Help me know what to take, help me clear up a clogged duct. So you were equally there for me, I would say, as you were for the kid.
The baby, I know I am new. We are new to each other. I am in your space, your privacy, as you just said, such beautiful, your privacy, walk out the door.
Yeah.
I am there, you're walking with your boobs, you're naked. I come, you might be in the bathroom, you're showering, you bleeding heavy. Mattie. I come to the bathroom, you are naked, I'm there taking you, wrapping you, saying about you. So, you know, I become your next mom. Don't look at me as the nurse, but as the next mom that is there to take care of a daughter and a grandchild.
Yep.
That is how I feel. And when I go to a home, Lulu, I don't come in your home to take care of that child for you. I always tell you that. You and Michael, I did not come here to take care of Coco or Milo for you guys. I came here to take care of Coco and Milo for Jehovah God.
Something you always said from the start of you being there was, you know, I'm here to help you guys. And a big way to help you guys is to let you two go together, go be together. I have the baby. The baby is safe. You don't need to be holding the baby 24/7. In order for this family and your relationship to continue functioning and thriving, you two need time alone together.
Must get time.
And you would tell us, I mean, obviously it was before we could
before
we could have sex. you would jokingly tell us, go have sex.
Yes.
Leave.
Yes.
Go take a walk. Hold hands. Snuggle up with your husband.
Yes. Because remember, it's 9 months you have this baby. 9 months you carry that baby. So it was 3 of you. Anywhere you go, it was 3 of you. Now the baby is out. You have help. You hire me as a help that you could have a little peace also. You go and enjoy yourself. You want to take a plane and go to Japan, go. I'm going to take good care of your babies.
So obviously the most crucial part of having a nurse is that they are there for the overnight period.
Overnight.
Just to kind of paint a picture for people, you sleep in the baby's room.
Yes.
Obviously every nurse would request a different way to sleep.
Yes.
I guess some nurses would sleep on a sleeper sofa. Some might want a bed in there. I don't know, others maybe are on a cot on the floor. I know you've had 7 back surgeries.
Yes.
So when you hire Maddie, you need a firm
mattress.
support for her. Yes. We had you sleeping in the baby's room, so we would literally say, good night, Milo. give him a
Yes,
kiss around 8
yes,
o'clock,
it's true.
and he is off with you.
With me, yeah.
We did set up our monitor,
Yes.
and we would have the monitor on the crib so that we could still see what was happening with him overnight. We could watch it, and we still were aware of what his nighttime wake-ups were. And of course, if we ever wanted to go in, we could go in.
Of course, yes.
But I guess the perk of having someone there is that you can turn off the monitor sound at night and get a full night's sleep, which in those early postpartum weeks
you need it.
is life-changing.
Yeah, you need it.
One thing I remember is you would wake up in the morning, you would look me in the eye, you would see if I looked sleep-deprived, and you would look at me and you would say, "What is that?
Yes.
Get to bed. Get in the bed." You would almost like force me to rest when I just wanted to plow full steam ahead. You would say, no, rest.
All my
That's what
mamas,
I'm here for.
yeah. Go and rest, because if you don't get that rest, you could go cuckoo on me, and I don't want you to go cuckoo. And you know, you guys take it for a joke, but you can flip.
I know.
It's not a good feelings that you guys get. So before that, go to the bed. Leave me with the baby.
Every nurse does the sleep situation differently, I would assume, but something that I think is unique about you is that maybe it's because of how long you've been doing this, or maybe it's just your personality, but you are kind of a nocturnal human to begin with. You just can't sleep overnight.
At night, yeah. Overnight, I cannot sleep because if I take a nap and I get up, that's it. I cannot sleep because it's like I have to watch the babies. I have to watch them.
Yeah.
And you know me. You know how I'm a blanket queen. You know I'm a blanket queen.
Yes.
So I have to watch my babies.
Yeah.
I have to watch my babies.
And by blanket queen, what do you mean?
I mean, I like blanket. I like a blanket. I like to spread a blanket on the baby. I like to see my baby warm. I like my baby to cuddle.
That was something that was really soothing for me, was to know that not only did I have a night nurse who was in the room with the baby while the baby slept, but that person was actually likely awake all night watching them. A lot of nurses or doulas or postpartum doulas who come, they actually are trying to get sleep next to the baby. And if the baby's up, they will get up too, but then they will go back to sleep. And I think it's every parent's fear, what if this person doesn't hear the baby? And with you, that was out of the question because you were wide awake.
You know something? And I would say to all my parents, when I come to you, I don't want you to have no fear. Because Jehovah didn't give you that baby to be fearful. When I come to you and you start to talk about fear, you freak me out.
Yeah.
I am freaked out because I think, why she must think about fear? Why she think that something's going to be wrong with the baby? Nothing is going to be wrong with this baby.
Early days, I had some fears
Very.
of what if he just stops breathing while he's sleeping? Or maybe another mom in that moment would need someone to say, "Oh, I know that's a scary thought, but don't worry, it's not going to happen." What I actually needed was the way you reacted, which was to look at me like I had 40 heads and to say, why would you even consider that?
Consider that?
Yeah.
Please.
And listen, I'm aware that
No.
we're going to get into Maddie's personality traits because some aspects of your personality are like work really well with me and are maybe not everyone's cup of tea. But that personality trait was, Milo's pediatrician was the same, where I would ask a question, I would be totally freaked out about something, and she would look at me and say, "That is just not even physically possible."
Yeah.
And that's the way I needed to be spoken to, was to be reminded that a lot of this is my postpartum brain making up stories. But I appreciated that from the start, you just didn't even want the energy of us talking about the crazy things that could possibly go wrong. Why wouldn't we be in a positive headspace?
Yeah.
As long as we're doing an episode about baby nurses, and obviously many people are going to hear this and think, sign me up, this all sounds glorious. But this is the real stuff, and we need to talk about both the pros and some of the cons of having a baby nurse, because I do think this is maybe not right for every family.
Yes.
Primary con, I would say, which I'm sure everyone asks you about when they're interviewing you, is having someone in your space. A lot of new parents are like, I don't want anyone to be in my space. I don't want my own mom, I don't want my own family, and I definitely don't want a stranger. You know, Michael was also that way at the start when we first were inviting a nurse over with Milo. You know Michael, he doesn't like people in his space.
Michael.
He doesn't like it. A big part of your space is changed.
Because, remember, before you have that baby, it was you and Michael alone. Both of you could walk naked, run naked, flip naked, do everything naked. Sit down on the kitchen counter, sit down on the kitchen table, spread your leg here, there, and everywhere. And somebody is here now. Michael can't come out in his nude.
Right.
He can't do that anymore.
Michael didn't do that a lot before you, Maddie.
No. It's just some men like to have the bell ringing every minute. You have to... You're watching them, they're up and down with the bell ringing, and they feel it. They feel it's a big joke.
Michael wasn't really a bell ringer.
Right? They're walking up and down. Remember before that?
Yeah.
Before I came, they used to do that. Now the babies say they can't do that. So even though, I'm coming, remember, if they don't hire a baby nurse, it will be still mommy and daddy. He could still walk with his bell hanging, ring, 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 ring. He's still walking up and down. But when the nurse come, he cannot do that.
Yeah.
He have to put his belly in a sack. He had to put his belly in a sack. So it wouldn't ring, right? It stopped ringing, right? So when I come there as a nurse, it's like I'm invading your privacy. But then what I would like parents, I like this podcast, what I would like parents to do, consider before you hire a baby nurse, think about it, discuss it, talk. It will make the transition even better and easier because you guys discuss it.
Forget about the man with his bell ding dong. I think for the mom, it's important for them to come to terms with the fact that they don't need to be modest and private and all hiding themselves around you.
No. From the time I reached here, please, your breast is mine.
Yeah.
Especially when you want to breastfeed that baby.
Yes, of course.
I got to see that breast.
No, of course.
Right? Because I want to know what I'm dealing with.
Yes, and you are also very attentive to what is the shape of the nipple.
Yes,
is the baby
everything.
latching? Let me watch that latch.
Yes.
Let me help you squeeze the milk to come out. It's very hands-on.
It's very, a breastfeeding mommy is very important when I get in the house.
Yes.
So she cannot hide. She cannot, if you know you have to do all that, you don't need a baby nurse.
Yeah. Like, you know me.
Yes.
Maddie, take my breast.
Yes.
You could have my breast.
Yes.
Anyone can have my breast. Some people are just more reserved people to begin with and can't imagine showing their breast to a stranger unless it's like a doctor at the hospital. I think that's an important thing for people to keep in mind is there's someone in your house, in your space.
Yes.
All privacy is out the
Is
window.
out the window, yes.
Another con, if we keep going down this list, is it does add a little bit of weight onto the parents that not only is someone now in my space, but I'm sort of responsible for making sure they are comfortable.
Yes.
And one issue we had in the start with you with Milo was that we actually had gotten the wrong bed.
Yes.
That was not suitable for you with your surgeries. Because we had purchased a bed that the other nurse told us.
Yes, I remember.
She literally sent me a link of a folding bed on Amazon. And then when you came, you said, this isn't going to work for me. And we had to spend the first 10 hours of us being at home with Milo finding
a bed
at IKEA in Red Hook.
Yes, it's true.
And had to send a family member to get it. And so that's something to consider is making sure, you have a little bit of a mental weight added on.
Yes.
Of caring for someone else when you're already caring for a baby.
Newborn baby. So that is why when you call me on an interview, when you interview me, I tell you about my back.
Yes.
I don't wait until I get there. Consider it. You and Michael talk about it. Get back to me. If I'm a fit, I'm a fit. But not. Thank you for still appreciating to call me.
Yeah.
Right?
Another potential con, which was not an issue for us, but could be an issue for someone, is if you have a major personality discrepancy between you and the nurse, or a personality discrepancy between like what you are looking for in terms of a nurse. And what I mean here is that all my friends talk about nurses and what they're looking for. They kind of describe who they want in the house. And I have heard some people describing that what they're looking for is a person who keeps to themselves, who is quiet, goes off to their room, doesn't want to, a person who doesn't want to join the family for meals, a person who, if you're watching on YouTube, you see Maddie's awe and surprise at this. But yes, it's true, Maddie. A lot of people don't want a person who brings any personality to the house. They want a quiet mouse who fades into the background and is like a wallflower who's just there to help with the baby. Let it be known on the podcast right now, do not hire Maddie.
Don't hire me. Please do not hire me for that. Yes, because if you need that kind of person, I will be so depressed, I will leave your job. I am promising you I would not stay, I will leave.
Yes, which is good for you that you know also you have boundaries of what you want to do.
Yeah.
This is your life as well.
Yeah. Anybody that wants somebody reserved and to be in the bedroom with the baby, please do not pick your phone up and call. I'm not available. Because I want to, listen, I am here, I am single, and I want to mingle.
Maddie has a personality. Yeah. Not only does she have a personality, but she has opinions, ways that you do things.
Yeah.
You are not necessarily, listen, if a mom comes in and says, I really want you to do X, Y, and Z,
I will do it.
You will listen and you will do it.
Of course.
Or you will at least try
to
do what they're saying.
Yeah, because remember, that's your baby.
Yes.
Always remember, it's your baby. And you are entitled to tell me whatever to do with that baby. That baby is your baby.
Yes.
Right?
But you also have been at this for a while, and you have your ways, and you have your methods.
Yes.
And you're not afraid to speak your mind.
No, I'm not.
And you are vocal in the house. Having Maddie means adding another person to your family who is fun, loud, vibrant, part of the crew. And if someone is looking for a quiet, fade in the background nurse, Maddie's not your pick.
Yeah, I'm not her pick. I'm not their pick. I'm not their pick at all. Because how could I come to your house and just fade away? Am I dust?
No.
Am I smoke? That I just come and
No.
Not to join the okay, fine. You don't want me to join your family. For me, I'm fine with that. I am fine. Not to come and make a little smile and sit. You don't want to talk about your baby?
It happened a little bit here, second time with Coco, and I'm curious if it's happened before. I think another potential con is not the personality of the nurse with the parents, but sometimes there are other people in the house. And if you remember, Maddie's personality did not
rub this house.
Maddie's personality did not quite gel with our nanny's personality.
Yes, it's true.
And in many cases, maybe it's been the baby's grandmother or
the grandparents,
the in-laws.
The in-laws.
Yeah.
The in-laws.
What has happened in the past?
Yes, like in the past, the in-laws, well, okay, let me tell you. Could I give you a little story? I went on this case, and when I get there, the mother came to the home. She came and opened for me because I get before the mommy and the baby get to the house. So the grandmother came to the home to open the door. But what happened? I think the people who don't do video with me think that I'm probably light-skinned. I'm not dark-skinned, but I am black, like Jet Sam. I am black and hot. I'm a black, hot woman.
Yes, you are.
When she got there and opened the door for me, she stand and she looked at me. She said, do you bathe? Do you bath? I felt so insulted. She's asking me if I bathe,
if you took a bath before you came.
If I took a bath before I came. And it was very insulted. And okay, that was the mommy of the baby everybody felt shame. Mm. So when we get upstairs, she came to the baby room and she said to me, she said, let me tell you something. Every day I am going to come here and take my grandchild outfit. And every outfit I put out, you are going to put on the baby. They didn't need a baby nurse. And I last 4 days there. I last 4 days.
And then you left, or they
I
had you
left.
leave?
She came and she said the Sunday morning when I woke up, the son-in-law, when I went downstairs, the son-in-law said, Mattie, I have to tell you something. I said, what it is? He was very nice. I said, what it is? He said, well, my mother-in-law says she wants to come and do the job. I said, thank you. Pay me, I'm out of here. Pay me and get me an Uber. I'm out of here. Out of there. I'm not staying. I'm very sorry. Some of the mother-in-laws are very, very insultive.
Yeah.
Some of the mother-in-laws, they're so into the daughter-in-law head that the daughter-in-law will come for no reason at all and tell them, Mattie, you have to leave. It happens. I am not talking from about the experience. I'm talking from my own experience. Sometimes it's very crude.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
I was on a case also. The baby were crying. The baby were upset, very upset. Daddy walked in. I said, Daddy, she took the baby. The baby is crying. She do not want me to have the baby. Daddy came. He took the baby. The baby is crying. I said, okay. Well, Daddy, can I try? And the minute I took the baby get quiet. I threw the baby and the baby. She started to cry.
The mom.
Mom started to cry like if Daddy were beating her or if I were beating her. And in front of me, she said to Daddy, I don't want her here in my house. She's stealing my baby from me. So you get a lot of insult.
Yeah. Well, first of all, that story about the mother-in-law asking if you bathe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm also not reacting crazily because I already knew that story. But it's awful, and you do have to bear the brunt of a lot of characters.
Yes, a lot of characters.
I just want to keep going with some of the cons. A lot of new moms, specifically the moms, really like to be in control of everything that's happening, how the baby's cared for, and whether it's Maddie or another nurse, or even if it's just your parents come over and want to hold the baby, you cannot control how everyone else maneuvers and manages everything about that baby. And that can be a major point for moms of, I don't want a baby nurse, because if you want to manage every diaper change and every feed and every outfit that the baby's wearing, you don't need a baby nurse.
She don't.
A lot of people have questions about, well, when this person's living in your house, do you have to buy them food for every meal? How does it work? You have to feed them. When parents ask you, what's your eating situation, what do you tell them?
I eat with you. And anything I want when I get here, you get it for me. I'm not hard to feed. You know that. I'm not hard to feed. I'm just there. You don't have to go to the grocery and buy off the whole shelf. No. I'm not like that.
So
when I come to you, you feed me.
So you made that clear to us. And when Maddie first came to us with Milo, and we lived in New York City, it was a lot of ordering in.
Yes.
It was a lot of, let's just get seamless. You wanted chicken and salad most nights. And we weren't big chefs back then. You know, we weren't huge on cooking when we had an infant. But now we live in a house, we live in the suburbs. So when you were here for Coco, you and I made it into kind of a routine where maybe once or twice a week, we would
Three
go.
times a week.
A few times a week. Yeah. We would go to the grocery store together.
Twice. And then 3 times a week we cook.
We'd cook.
Yes.
2 times a week we would go do a big
shopping
together.
Yes.
And you weren't just like buying things for yourself. You were buying to stock up our fridge for the house so that we would have
food for everybody.
Food for everyone. You and I would then have so much fun cooking together. I only put that on the cons list because I think for some people they don't want another mouth to feed. That adds stress to them. So we're gonna get into a little bit more here, but I wanna interrupt this podcast to have a little reunion between Coco and Maddie. Maddie hasn't seen Coco since she left us a few months back. And here's our big girl.
Look at that feet.
Look at her.
Look at that feet. Hi, Mama. I miss Michael. I miss Michael. How are you? Oh my God. Look. I am your love. I am your love. I am your love. No cry. It's Auntie Mattie. Auntie Mattie. Oh my gosh. Okay, sugar, look.
Maybe Coco can stay for our chat.
She look like Michael so bad.
I feel like there are 2 different types of baby nurses. I think there's one type that is very much they feel like their job is to get that baby on a schedule for you and to sleep train the baby so that when the parents leave, the baby is sleeping. And then I think there's another type, which is the bucket that you fit more into, which is like you are there to care for the baby and you kind of let the baby guide what you're doing. You don't really enforce strict sleep schedules on the baby. If the baby is crying, you'll pick them up.
Yes.
And some parents might be like, I want my baby to be sleep trained by the time you leave. Whereas I think kind of contrary to that, and you would agree with this, I think you were more like attentive to Coco overnight than I wanted you to be.
Yes.
And I was telling you,
Mattie,
let her cry a little.
Yes.
Come on, Maddie, we got to sleep train her. And you said,
she's
crying, I got to get her.
I got to get her.
And it's not necessarily a con. I think for a lot of people that would be a pro. I think it's just important to know who you're hiring and what their philosophy is, because I would argue that when you left, she actually slept better when you weren't there because she had to soothe herself.
To soothe herself, But Auntie Mattie was there. Auntie Mattie was soothing her.
Yes. It's kind of a double-edged sword because on the one hand, I could say to you all I want you to sleep train her. But on the other hand, I will say I felt so at ease every night knowing that you were there for her. So I slept really well when you were here because I had no doubt that she was being attended to.
And that is one thing with, I appreciate that so much, sir, because somebody told me that. Somebody said that Lucie said to them that I would trust Mattie with any one of my children.
Oh, yes.
Yes. She said that when she heard you said so, you made her feel so happy and comfortable.
It's true.
Yes.
And that's why we brought you back with Coco, because
she said, Lucie, tell her that.
The hardest part of having a nurse, I would say, is the first week. A, getting used to this new person in your house, and B, trusting that they are actually going to be okay with your baby.
Yes.
Now, Maddie, on this podcast, we talk very openly about money. So I want to get into it.
Go right ahead.
As we said, having a nurse is an extreme privilege. This is a big expense that when Michael and I were working out, what we wanted, we thought long and hard about this because we knew we were going to be covering these expenses ourselves. As I said, both of our parents did not use nurses.
I remember.
So no one offered to pay for you for us. In hindsight, best money we've ever spent. Let's just do the math here. So the pricing varies. Can you first just tell me what are the prices that you hear of that nurses are charging for a day rate?
500.
Some are 500 a day.
500 a day.
And at the time when you worked for us with Milo, your rate was $350 a day. What's your rate now?
My rate now is $475.
$475.
But it have negotiations.
You could say it.
Negotiations.
You allow people to negotiate the rate.
Negotiate with it.
Just to do the math here for people, we paid you $350 a day, and we had you for 4 weeks.
Yes.
Which was 28 days times $350. It came to just shy of $10,000 for 1 month. Obviously, at this job, you're not working every day of the year because then you would never be home.
It's not every month you get baby nurse.
Let's say you are working for a total of 10 months out of a 12-month year.
Not 10 months. I don't work 10 months. Sometimes 2 or 3 months I don't work.
Okay. So maybe 8 or 9 months. Okay.
Yes.
So it is a good...
Yeah, it's a good full. Yeah.
It's a good living.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. But I wish after this podcast I could get 12 months.
Yes. I'm sure you will.
After this podcast, with this podcast, I could get 12 months.
At $475 a day.
Yes. It have the places that I would charge $550. It have the places that I would charge $475. Some people may say, well, we would like to hire you, but I would like to hire you for 3 months. Can you lower the rate? Of course. There's place for lowering the rate. But don't try to cheat me because I want to be fair to you and you be fair to me.
Yes.
Right? But I am there for open topic. We can talk about the price.
And that's something I love about you, whether it's talking about money or whether it's talking about what I want you to do with the baby.
Yeah,
I think something that's important for parents to know, if you're listening to this and if you are going to have a conversation with Maddie or with any other nurse, be upfront.
Yeah, please.
There's no need to shy away from these topics. Like I love this podcast for that reason. That's how we always are on this podcast. But in general, this is a very important hire that you're making in your life. So make sure that you're telling them what you want. Make sure you are being open about what you feel comfortable with, and you do the same on your end, and then everyone meets in the middle.
In the middle, yes.
Yeah. Just I want to jump in here to the point of rates. Obviously, the more experienced a nurse is, rates can go up. But in the case of you, one thing I've always loved and appreciated about you is that you are always continuing your offerings and continuing your education to ensure that you're providing the best service to parents. And something that Maddie did recently, actually just after she left us, was she went to Carriage House in Brooklyn and became a certified doula. So now not only are you a baby nurse, but you are a certified doula, which means you could also be working with your moms from the hospital or from the birth all the way through postpartum. You know, that was an investment for you. You had to pay a lot of money to take that course. And so as you should, you've raised your rates.
Yes. Don't forget to let them know that my backbone was you with the help. You helped me a lot. You know, you call Carriage House, you sign up everything, and you pay the fee, and you know everything. So it's a blessing. I thank Jehovah God very much for you. And you know, I'm very excited of being a doula now. You know, it makes me feel to move on. I would love to be a midwife.
So cool.
Yeah, it makes me feel to move on and do more and more and more.
Yeah.
But you know, as you just said, doula/baby nurse. People please, my rate is, and my rate, that is not the rate. If you hear the rates are humongous. But I am willing to work with my mom. I am willing to work with my parents. I didn't say Mama Lo because Dad is involved in this, because he have to also say yes.
Yeah.
Both of them have to be in agreement.
I want to talk a little bit about pricing, because some people think about, if they're getting a nurse, should we get a 24-hour nurse or should we just have a night nurse, which means they would leave in the morning and come back at night and just be there overnight. And I think a lot of people think they're going to save money by doing that. But in actuality, it's actually around the same price.
In a nutshell, it's the same price.
It's the same price. And if you think about it, it's because when you leave for the day and you just come back at night, you charge hourly. And the hourly rate for being there for those 12 hours overnight ends up...
I was finding out about it. And the hourly rate for being overnight is $50.
$50 an hour.
Yes, because my ladies charging $50 an hour out there.
I just want to do some math. So $50 an hour times, let's say you're there for 12 hours.
I know, because I said 12.
That's actually $600 for the night.
Yes.
Instead of paying someone $350 or $475 to be there 24/7.
Yes.
So it ends up being more worth it for the parents, investment-wise, to do full day, 24 hours. And what I will say is, when we first hired you, we didn't really have a choice, because in 2021, with all that was going on with COVID, almost all of the nurses in New York City were only accepting 24-hour jobs because no one wanted to be coming and going and coming back into the house with COVID if they were going to be sitting with a new baby. You also told me that you don't take exclusively night jobs unless it's in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn, yes.
Where you live.
And if I have to take night job and they're outside Brooklyn, they're in New York, you got to pay me. You got to pay my fare.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
You mean the travel fare?
Yeah, the travel fare. You got to pay that.
Yeah. Some people might ask, well, what does the nurse do all day? I thought that you would be sleeping all day so that you would be up with them all night, but you actually somehow only need about 3 to 4 hours of sleep in a day. So there was a pocket of probably 3 to 4 hours in the day when you would retire to the nursery and go sleep, and we would have the baby ourselves. However, you are also hands-on during the day, and you would make it so that we could leave Coco or Milo with you and we could go out by ourselves, especially when we had Milo and Coco you allowed us so much freedom to leave Coco with you so that we could still take Milo and do things and make him feel special. And that was much appreciated. Very much having the 24-hour support. It's not like you're paying someone to sleep for 12 hours. That person is helping you during the day. At least you were. I can only speak to you because I've only ever had you.
But you know, with all my moms, it's the same thing. I take a few hours nap, as you say. Take a few hours and then I get up and I'm hands-on. Sometimes when I give the mommy the mommy take the baby, say 8 in the morning. By the time I wake up 12, so I get up 12, she's burnt out. When I look at her, she is crazy. She's burnt out. I have to run and take that baby and put her to bed.
Yeah.
I have to tuck her in immediately to bed because she's burnt. So I will take the baby for the rest of the day. And you go and rest. Or go and do your nails. Go and do your hair. Do something. Make yourself happy.
One thing I was always blown away by with you is that from the moment you come into the house and you pick up the baby, somehow you have this trait about you that most people don't have, where you pick up a baby and you hold it and you all of a sudden love the baby like it was birthed from your body.
My own. And these baby talk to me.
Yeah.
They tell me everything about themselves. They tell me when they're hungry. They tell me when they are hurt. I believe that these kids talk to me. And Lucie, you could say that.
Yes.
You are sure that.
People call you the baby whisperer
Yes.
for a reason. I'm sure just being around so many babies so often, you know what's happening. Anyone that hires Maddie will know, if you have Maddie come to your house and the baby is in your arms crying, Maddie from across the room will tell you what's wrong. She's hungry, she's tired, she's uncomfortable in that position, she's cold. You know what's happening, and sometimes it will be like, I don't believe you, and then I will implement what you're saying, and boom, the baby's good.
Calm down.
It's actually an incredible skill, because when you bring a new baby home from the hospital and they're crying in your face, it could be so stressful and confusing that you just don't know what the heck is wrong. You are like, calm down. You are fed, you're fine, and then Maddie will say, nope, that baby needs a burp. They have a burp. I could see it, something in the way they're moving. You can feel it.
I feel
And as soon as you get to put that baby on your shoulder, Can you talk a little bit about the psychological impact on you of coming into a house, taking a baby as if it's yours, being with it for 4, 8, 12 weeks, and then saying goodbye?
Oh my God, it does have a great impact on me. For 1 whole week, I am so uncomfortable. I have to detox. The night before, I would cry. The mommy will come, and she will come and she would sit with me. She would cry. She would say, I would miss you so. And you know, those words are very deep words. Some parents keep in touch. Some parents don't. But it's fine. The important thing with me, I was there in your beginning. The beginning of the life of the beautiful angel that Jehovah God gave to you. I was in the beginning with you, with your baby, and I appreciate you allowing me to come in your space. You allowing me to come wherever you are.
We were always in touch because when I had you with Milo, I put you on my Instagram story. And for 3 years, I've been getting messages, can I have Maddie's number? Can I have Maddie's number? And then we were fortunate enough to use you again with Coco, which was actually opened up a whole new world, because to have you come back and see Milo when he's turning 3.
Oh my gosh.
After being with him.
That was so excited. Milo is, just imagine, I had Milo and he turned 3. He talked properly. Milo, he understands Spanish, he understands French. Milo is just amazing. And some of the things that you would sit with Milo and he would ask you, you are shocked. He's amazing.
Yeah. Something that's really special about you is that you have a heart of gold.
Excuse you, chicken.
You truly have this thing about you that makes you an angel. I think you are an angel who has descended, caring for elderly, sick and dying people, as well as loving every newborn baby like they're your own. Sorry, did you just say people die in your hands?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's traumatic.
Yeah, it does be traumatic. You cries a lot.
Yeah.
You know, when you see, I know, oh God, I can give you stories. It's so sad to see them take their last breath. It's when the breath leaves, then you realize, oh my God, what did happen? What just happened in your eyes? You swear that person is your parent. You swear that person is your parent.
Yeah. When you arrive in the house, you wind up becoming a maternal figure for the moms, which is so special. And I also want to say, I have never laughed as hard in my life as I have having some conversations with you. During that time in your life when you are just, everything's so serious and stressful, to laugh that way was medicine.
Michael too.
Michael too. We would sit up having conversations that were
God.
making me
Especially at
pee in
dinner.
my pants. I think I peed in my pants.
Oh my gosh, you used to have a good time. I love you, Lucie, and I tell everybody I really, truly love you. All my moms, I love all my moms, but you are so special.
Thank you.
You are a special, special person. I have another special person that I truly, truly love also. Her name is Sarah.
Why was she special?
She's special because she truly loved me like you. She showed me, every time that I see Sarah, she made me remember you. Sarah, just like you, you know. Lucie, the way you will hug me, the way you will kiss, you don't care. The first time.
Wait, was this the Sarah that was a friend of mine's sister?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that's Sarah.
That's so funny.
Yes. The first time I came into your house, the very first time for Milo, as I opened the door, you sprang on me. And you hold me and you start to kiss me up. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She started to kiss me up. If you see how Lucie started to kiss, oh my gosh. And Lucie started to kiss me up and hold me and squeeze me. I said, my God, what happened to this white chick?
Something about your essence made me feel an instant comfort. And that's what I was looking for with the nurse.
appreciate
I wasn't looking for someone to retreat into the bedroom with the baby. I was looking for a person to care for me and us and to join our family for the time being and beyond. And that's what we found in you.
You know what I love about Lucie? When I came through the door and she put Coco in my hand, she said, Mattie, you are the only person I trust with my baby. She said, I can sleep now.
Yes,
She said, I can sleep now.
that is what I said.
Yeah, she said, I can sleep now. And another mommy told me the same thing. Because you don't know what those words do to other ladies. Because other mommies looking at you. And if you can trust Mattie, we can trust Auntie Mattie too. And I appreciate that so very much. And I love you. And if you're looking at this podcast, I am going to always do my best with your baby. Do not worry about the space. We are going to fit. I am not slim. I am bubbly. Look at me. I am bubbly. I am a huggable bear. So when I get there, please, let's love, enjoy each other company.
Thank you for everything. I love you. And let's hope you get booked up for 12 months at $475 a day.
I thank you. I appreciate everybody.
Love you.
Please, love you. Call me. Lucie, I appreciate you. You know, God will bless you multiply. What you do for me is what He's going to do for you.
I love you.
Your whole business is going to explode. And you know, I'm telling you,
Thank you. But you know that's
Anytime.
not why I do this for you.
that is how I feel.
I know, but you know that's not, I don't want anything in return.
What? You better say thank you, Mattie, now. Cut it out.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Real Stuff podcast. If you're liking the show, please head over to Apple or Spotify and leave the show a written review. If you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment down below and join in the conversation. And if you're feeling called to be a guest on the show, visit luciefink.com/apply and tell us your story. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your attention with us, and we will see you next time on the Real Stuff podcast.
Please note that this episode may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products and services. Individuals on the show may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to in this episode.